So a couple years ago, I did a video on how to divide hostas. I also did another video on how to divide heucheras. And so I thought it'd be really good to just show you guys where they are today. This has been a couple years later. I've got a lot of these heucheras and hostas growing here at the new house. And this is just sort of a progress update. So let's go take a look at these hostas and show you what has happened to them in the last couple years. So here is where they all are right now. This is a little bit of a shade garden area that we've got on one side of the house. In the morning, it gets full sun, and that disappears somewhere around 11 o'clock, where the shade of the house actually starts to shelter this spot. And so that's really ideally perfect for all these plants. They like some of that sunshine, but it can get very intense here in Tennessee, especially in the late afternoon. So it's a really good spot, morning sun and then afternoon shade for them. And they'll be in the complete shade for the afternoon. Now right now, this is the only Heuchera and Hosta location I've got on the property. And the reason I've got it here is because it is close to the house. It's easy for me to watch, maintain, because we have a lot of deer in the area. There's also a lot of rabbits around here. And as we all know, that Heuchera, or not Heuchera, Hostas are really prone to being eaten by deer and rabbit. The Heuchera not so much, which is another reason why I've got them planted together. It's not just that they look cool together with the different shades of color on the Heuchera here, kind of the darker purples and then more of the caramel type colors in some of them. And we've got some of those little reddish color over here on those Heucheras. I think that's one called peach or something like that. But it's not just because of the colors. The Heucheras are very resistant to rabbit and deer. And so I've got them planted kind of as a ring around the outside and then intersperse the hostas on the interior areas where the deer are not going to reach as quickly. So if they sense something on the outside that is not interesting, then maybe they're not going to go further in. So far that's been okay. I haven't had any deer in this bed just yet, but you never know. So it could always happen. But I've always found that mixing plants together with like heucheras that are more deer resistant are actually help to protect the other plants that are more deer resistant. Another one I like to use are hellebores in the garden, but I don't have any in this particular bed right now. So over the years, I've kind of forgotten some of their names, so forgive me if I don't really give them their accurate names. I do know that this heuchera right here is called Southern Comfort, and it actually can tolerate a lot of sunshine, so it's really good. The green one over here right next to it is one that I grew from seed. And you can tell it's all pure green. It's got a little bit of shading in there where it's a little bit more yellowish in the middle. But it came in the same batch as some of these other ones, like this one right here. So you can tell there's a lot of variation in heucheras when you grow them from seed. You can check out that video also. This lime green colored big leaf variety of hosta is one called Sum and Substance. It is an outstanding one, and it has done very well in this location. These leaves, just to give you some perspective, are bigger than my hand quite a bit. The leaf itself is probably a good 12 inches or so from tip to the stem. Underneath it is this little one here, which is one I like. It's called Ginkgo Craig. It's characterized by a little bit more narrow leaves, and the outside, you can tell there's a little bit of variegation on it, and it's more of like a stiletto shaped leaf. So it's pretty cool. Now I believe this hosta right here is the exact same variety that I used in the hosta division video a couple years ago. I think it's called Alba. Now Alba is a very common variety of hosta. It looks just like this, where you've got the little white areas around the edges of the leaves and a little bit of variegation within. So it's a really cool hosta to have. A lot of people have it in their gardens. Now on dividing hostas, hostas are so easy to divide. Really, don't stress about it, for real. In the video, I dug them out of the ground at a certain time of year, which I find is the best and the period of time that I really like to divide them. That's when they've got those little tight spears coming out of the ground. But you can divide them almost any time of the year. I do caution you about summertime because it's really hot and it's harder to keep things alive in the summertime. But if you are in the early springtime or even late fall when things have cooled off a little bit, you could definitely successfully divide hostas. They are so easy. Some people will just plop a hosta down and they will grow. And an example of that is kind of this. You can see there's really no soil in that pot. I need to get that in the ground. but that's one I just pulled out of the ground last year, and well, it's still in the pot. So I need to get that planted at some point here soon. It looks like I have a couple divisions I could potentially make out of it. And there's another one. You can grow them in pots. They're so easy to grow in a pot too. This particular pot over here is one I got many years ago. It's just a teak container, and inside of it I've got this hosta growing, and it's been in this pot for ages. I don't even know how long that's been. It's been a while. Now the other plants in this bed, I've got this Japanese maple that's front and center here in the middle of it. And this is one that I bought many, many years ago and had planted in a location way far back, kind of behind our shed, because I was trying to create a little bit of a shade garden area over there. And this plant is really thriving now in a lot more sunshine than it had before. So it just didn't have the right balance. We dug it up, moved it over here, planted it, and it is looking great. I positioned it so that some of the, you can see here where a branch was cut off at one point, to try to encourage the leaves to go this direction outward away from the house and not be so much leaning over toward one side, because I think back where I had it before, it was going toward the light. Here I want the light to come on the opposite side for it, so that's kind of what's happening with it. On the other side there's another hosta. It's probably Crassa regal. I'm not 100% certain on that identity, but I've got quite a few different hostas in here. I've got a list of them that I need to go through and actually identify them on. And this is a hydrangea called Lady in Red. It's a hydrangea macrophylla, and it's just got a beautiful lace capped flower. I've got 3 of them planted here in a bit of a triangle shape to kind of fill up this little corner of the garden. You can see right here another type of hosta. I'm not sure the name, but you'll note that it has some damage on it. This kind of damage is another problem that hostas are prone to, and that is slugs. I'm using a pine straw mulch, and I have found that it's a little bit better for hostas in fighting off slugs, but as you can tell, it definitely is not 100%. A lot of people, when they're fighting off slugs, will use a can of beer. They'll put them in a saucer near the area where the slugs are, and then the slugs will climb into that and then drown themselves. I guess in their sorrows. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it does seem to work. You could probably do that with some sugar water and put some yeast in the sugar water to attract them as well, if you don't happen to have beer on hand. Over here in this bed also are these really beautiful Japanese painted ferns, and they were transplants that we divided and brought over here also to put in this shade garden area. You can see it's next to a couple other hostas. Those all look good. This one needs planted again. And over here, a really beautiful Heuchera. I'm forgetting the name of this. I want to say it's Midnight Rose, but I'm not 100% on that. Over here, this is just a Nico Blue hydrangea we bought this year, and I'm letting it grow right now in a pot until I can figure out exactly where I want it to go. This nifty plant right here is a Solomon seal, and there is a non-variegated version of Solomon seal as well as the variegated. So depending upon what you like best is what you should plant. Underneath it, it's got these little flowers that appear. These are just what's left over from the flowers, just little stems. I guess I've missed the flowering on this particular plant. But it does spread by rhizomes, and it's very easy to dig up and transplant and move, or just cull it if it's getting too big in a certain area. So in this planter are some Heuchera that I grew from seed. They probably came from Palace Purple, which does actually grow true to type from seed, so you can expect to get the same plant as the parent each time you grow those seed, unless you've done a specific hybrid from that to something else. But they've got a really nice dark purplish color to the leaves when they're first coming out. In more intense sunshine, they tend to get a little bit more greenish than they are purple. So I just wanted to share with you how they look today, after a division a couple of years ago. Hostas are one of the easiest plants to propagate through division. There's absolutely no reason that you should be afraid to touch a hosta and get it to grow. A lot of times you can just throw it down on bare dirt and it will survive. Hostas are tough. The only thing they can't take are deer. Deer really seem to decimate them and eat them and enjoy them. So you just got to watch out for deer and plant them in good locations where you can either fool the deer or maybe use one of those deer type sprays that help to prevent deer from coming over. They work by putting different substances in it that deer do not like the scent of or the taste of, and so it turns the deer off, but you do have to reapply those after a rain. So I hope this was helpful or interesting, and if it was, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time here on Growing the Home Garden. Thanks for watching.